Okay, this will be a video for section 15.2, 8th grade, two-way relative frequency tables. We're going to use these frequency tables we learned about in yesterday's or the last video lesson. And we're going to look at these and figure out percentages. We're going to figure out probabilities and chances. So just very quickly as a percentage review, we're going to look at this first table and just kind of follow along. I don't think I'll need a picture of this page, but we have 50 randomly selected students, and they were asked if they preferred dogs, cats, or other pets. So we had 22 people out of 50 who preferred dogs, 15 like cats out of 50, and 13 said some other pet was their favorite. So when we want to figure out the relative frequency, we're going to look for a decimal or a percent. And I'm not going to go decimal. We have to go to decimal to get to percent. I want our answers in this section to be as percents. So if we have 22 out of 50, well, what we would do is we would divide 22 divided by 50. That will give us 0.44. And then to go to percent, Percent, this means of 100. We need to go times 100. So this is 44%. Now the amount that preferred dogs is 15 divided by 50. When we divide that out, we get 0.3. And then times 100 would be 30%. Our shortcut here is that was 0.30, 30%. This one was 0.44, 44%. And then finally we have 13 divided by 50. So this one is 0.26, which will move over to 26%. And hopefully this plus this plus this equal 100%. We can double check. We've got 44, 30, and 26. This is a 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100%. And that's what we wanted. So then, down here, this is where they want their decimals. So we had 30% here, 26% here, and 100% here. So don't worry about this page. We're going to move on. In fact, we're going to go all the way to the guided practice page. We're going to do this page along with the page after it. So we're going to do page 462 and 463 for this video lesson. All right, where's the best place for this? How about over here? All right, in a class survey, students were asked to choose their favorite vacation destination. The results are displayed by gender in the two-way frequency table. So we have, let's see, yeah, that's fine. We've got 7 girls who preferred pet. I don't think it's pet. Preferred vacation. 7 girls prefer the seashore, 3 girls prefer the mountains, and 2 girls prefer somewhere else. So we need to fill in these blanks, and I think we're all pretty good at this point. So this total amount of girls that were asked is going to be 7 plus 3 plus 2 will be 12. Total number of boys will be 5 plus 6 plus 2 is 11, 12, 13. Total number of people should be 25. 12 girls, 13 boys makes 25. 7 plus 5, we had 12 people say the seashore. We had 5 people say the mountains. And we had 8 people say other. Find the total for each gender. We did that. Done. We did girls and boys. Find the total for each preferred vacation spot. We did 12, 5, and 8. Write the grand total. That's our total. We did that. And then for the next section down here, we're going to have to write these as decimals. They said decimals. I'm going to change that to percents. So I'm going to have to clear this to scroll down. We're going to now use that table that you just completed, and I'm going to just pull up my answer key because I don't have it memorized. And we're going to convert all of these to a percent. We're going to find out what percentage of each of these people makes up each section, and we'll have a total of 100%. Our total is always going to be 100% when we're talking about a survey. All right, calculator. There we go. So for the seashore, we had a 7. So don't worry about writing the 7. I'm just going to put a 7 here. We have 7 out of 25. So 7 divided by 25 is 0.28. So then we're going to change that to a percent. So we'll do times 100, or just 0.28 is 28%. Okay. In the mountains, we had 3. So 3 out of 25 is 12%. In a minute, we might start recognizing a pattern. In the next one, we've got 2 out of 25, which is going to be 8%. And the way that I know that, the way I did that super quick, I know 725 going to 100ths. I can see from here to here we do times 4. This is proportional, so this is times 4. This is 28. If we have a denominator of 25, 25, 25, 25, all we have to do is quadruple our top number, and that'll be our percent. Because with a 25, it's always times 4 to go to 100, which means of 100%. So, next one, we'll do the boys who said the seashore. That was 5, so that'll be 20%. 5 times 4 is 20. Next one is another 2, so that'll be an 8%. Boys who said other, there were 6. 6 times 4 will be 24%. Now we can add our 3% to get our total percent for girls. We had 28 plus 12 plus 8. We get 48%. Now hopefully this will be 52%, because 48 plus 52 will make 100. Let's double check. 20 plus 8 plus 24, 52%. And that's good, because 48 plus 52 does equal 100. 28 plus 20 will make 48%. 48% of our people said the seashore. 12 plus 8, 20% of our people said mountains. And then other, 24 plus 8 will be 32% said other. 48% of our people were girls. 52% of our people were boys. 48% of our boys and girls said seashore. 20% of our boys and girls said mountains. 32% of our boys and girls of all of our people said other. Now this section, we're going to look at these percents, and we're going to do a few different kinds of frequencies, a few different kinds of ways to make a conclusion. And these are the 3. For letter E, we're going to do the joint relative frequency. What the joint relative frequency means is there's going to be 2 things we've got to look at. So for E, joint means more than one. There are 2 things that are connected. So use the table to find the joint relative frequency of students surveyed who are boys who prefer the mountains. So how many boys in the mountains did we have? Well, boys, mountains, we had 8%. And that's it. That's going to be 8% of people that we studied were a boy that chose the mountains. So you just find that specific spot in our table. For F, we need to find the marginal relative frequency, which we'll be able to tell what that is in just a moment, of students surveyed who prefer vacationing at the seashore. So, seashore, that can be boys or girls. It doesn't say anything about boys or girls. So we're going to combine both of these. We're going to look at boys and girls, which we have it here. It's 48%. So 48% marginal is where we might have to ignore our left side being 2 different groups. We put them together. Or we might say, how many boys did we ask? What percentage of boys did we have? That would have been 52. That's another marginal. We would combine all 3 of our boy answers, percentage-wise, and we get the 52 here. So that was just this total. So students who prefer vacationing at the seashore, well, that's these 28% of girls and this 20% of boys. We had to add them together. For letter G, conditional relative frequency, that a student surveyed prefers vacationing in the mountains, given that the student is a girl. So we're only looking at girls, and we want to know what percentage of girls prefer the mountains. So let's double check this. We had 3 girls, that's our numerator, that preferred the mountains. We don't want to use all 25 people that we did in this one. It's not going to be 3 out of 25. It's only 3 out of how many total girls did we have. So if we look back up on the total, this box right here on the top one showed us we had 12 girls. So this is 3 out of 12. So 3 divided by 12, 3 mountains out of 12 total girls is 25%. Interpret this result. So 25% of girls prefer the mountains. All right. So that's all we're going to do. Let me read the bottom one before I erase everything. How can you use a two-way frequency to learn more? Nah, we're not going to worry about that. With that, you can look for number 2 on the bottom. You can look for joint relative frequency. You can look for marginal relative frequency. You can look for conditional relative frequency. But really, I mean, you can see your percents. You can see your totals up above, and you can draw all kinds of conclusions. We're going to do one more page. We're going to do this page in its entirety. We're going to do it all. So let's go ahead and answer. We got to complete the table, and then we're going to convert it to frequency with percentages. So starting here, Stefan surveyed 75 of his classmates about their participation in school activities, as well as whether they have a part-time job. The results are shown in a two-way frequency table, and we need to complete this table for part A. So we have yes or no on if they have a job, and we have different activities. We have people who only do clubs, people who only do sports, people who do both of those, people who do neither, and then a total here. So we have a total of 75 people. We have 51 people have a job. We got to look for some boxes we can fill in. I think we could find out how many people only do clubs and have a job, because our total of people who have clubs only is 15. So this will be a 10 here. We can now figure out this box. We can also figure this one out. 12 plus what is 18? Well, 12 plus 6 is 18. This top middle box, I know that 10 plus 12 plus something plus 9, 10 plus 12 plus x plus 9 equals 51. Let's put all these together. 12, 10, and 9 makes 31. So 51 minus 31, this will be 20. 20 and 10 makes 30. We can figure out this box by doing 75 minus these. 75 minus 30 minus 18 minus 15. This is 12, which means 9 plus 3 is 12. And we'll do 5 plus 6 plus 10 plus 3. And we get 24. And now just to double check, 51 plus 24 does equal 75. Our table is complete. For part B, explain how you found the correct data to enter in the table. Well, what we did is we looked for boxes where we had information from the rest of its row or column. Then we use subtraction to figure out what those missing boxes were. We can use subtraction from the totals to find missing numbers. I had a student earlier who said it's kind of like doing a Sudoku. That's one of those things with the 9 boxes. And you got to try and figure out where the 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s go using clues. So like this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9 can't go in this row because you have a 9 here already. And you got to try and fill in this whole thing. It is kind of like that. We're using clues and puzzles here to solve. All right, so now we're going to go down to the bottom. We're going to use these same numbers, okay? I'm going to have to look at my answer key again because I got to delete all this to scroll down. Oops. And we're going to do number 4, A, B, and C. So we got to write all of these as a percent. See, I don't know why they did decimal last time. I don't really like that. Oh, they're doing decimals here. Create it with decimals and... Oh, they're using percents later. Let's just use percents up here. I don't want decimals. We're going percent. So we have a total. We had a total of 75 people. That was our total box. This is now going to be 100%. That's all of our people. So 75 is our denominator. And now we're just going to plug in all 8 of these numbers for our percentages. So we had 10 people who had clubs and a job. So that's 10 divided by 75. This is going to be, we're going to round this to 13%. I got 13.333333. We're going to be able to round this. Next box, we had 12. So 12 divided by 75, we have 16%. Both 20 divided by 75 is going to be 27%. The next one, we've got neither. It's 9 divided by 75. That's 12%. We can add these up and get our total. 13 plus 16 plus 27 plus 12 is 68% of our people have a job. Clubs only, but don't have a job. That's 5 divided by 75, 7%. We can fill in this bottom box with 20%. Next one, sports only, who don't have a job. That was 6. That'll be 8%, which makes 24%. The next one is people who do clubs and sports but do not have a job. That is 10%, which makes this 37%. People who don't do clubs or sports and don't have a job, that's 3 of them, which makes 15%. Let's double check and make sure this all adds up to 100. We got 20 plus 24 plus 37 plus 15. 37, 15. Yeah, that's not 100. Let me see. 12 plus 3. They're saying that one's going to be... I see. 3 divided by 75. Oh, I did this one wrong. I divided it wrong. This is actually 4%, which makes this 16. Sorry. Changing that box. I don't think that's going to do it all, though. They have 13 here. So let's double check my number. I'm at 10 divided by 75. 13. Why did I write 10? This one's 13. This one's 4. See, we find a mistake. I made a mistake on this one. This was 10 out of 75. Oh, I see. I put the number 10. It's 13%. And this one is 3 out of 75. So 3 divided by 75 is 4%. I just randomly stopped remembering what I was doing for this whole bottom row. This 8 is not 8. This 8, I know that was 8%. All right. That's when I messed up and forgot how to do math. So 7 plus 8 plus 13 plus 4. And we're going to have to fix this one too. 27 plus 13 is 40. 7 plus 8 plus 13 plus 4 is 32%. which is good because 32 plus 68 does make 100. 12 and 4 is 16. 27 and 13 is 40. 16 and 8 is 24. I think we're all good now. All right. Sorry for messing up. Number 5, we need to give our answers for A, B, and C as a percent. So they're going to say this, we're going to do our joint relative frequency, we're going to do our marginal frequency, and we're going to do our conditional relative frequency, which is just big words summarizing the type of question they're going to ask. So what is the frequency of students surveyed who participate in school clubs only and have part-time jobs? So we find people who are in the clubs and have a part-time job, and we find that that's 13%. So joint relative frequency is probably our easiest one. You just find the box for those 2 clues. Letter B, how many students surveyed who do not have a part-time job? So this is just all the people who don't have a part-time job, which would be all the no's added up, which we actually already have. It equals 32. So we have 32% of people don't have a part-time job. So marginal is where you just combine some boxes. And C, conditional relative frequency, that a student surveyed participates in both school clubs and sports. So they're in the both, given that they have a part-time job. So now we're only looking at people who have a part-time job. So the job yeses. So this box on the top one is 51 people. So out of 51 total people who have a job, how many are in the both? Well, that was 20. So 20 out of 51. We get 39.2%. We'll go with 39%. All right. We get 20 divided by 51. Yep. All right. And that's going to wrap it up. So for A, B, and C, the important part is it's not necessarily the vocab that they told us. It's really understanding and reading and maybe rereading students surveyed who participate in school clubs only and have part-time jobs. So that tells you clubs only and part-time jobs. It's this one box right here. Marginal frequency. Don't worry about marginal frequency and what that word means. Just think, students surveyed who do not have a part-time job. How many do not have a part-time job? Well, that's going to be a bunch of boxes because that might be kids who are in clubs or sports or both or neither. Doesn't matter. We only care about their job, which was 32. Next, we have conditional. And what are the odds? If we're only looking at, given that students has a part-time job, so we're only looking at part-time job yeses, how many of these out of these, how many boths out of the total part-time job people do we have that are involved in both clubs and sports? And we got it, 39%. As always, let me know if you need any help. Hopefully this video wasn't too much. We're looking for percents. To find a percent, you divide this. That would give you 0.3921 and change it to a percent by moving your decimal 2 times to the right or doing times 100. This will be 39.2, which is why we just said 39.